Hello my gorgeous cuties out there and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking all of my ODEN'S eye palettes. I like to do these kind of videos on different brands so I can tell you guys which ones are my least favorite and which ones I would recommend that are like the best of the best. But before we get into this video, if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Bree and I am just a crazy lover of all things beauty and I love to post a lot of fun, colorful makeup content. So if those things that you like to watch, please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. I'd love to have you here. But with that being said, let's get into this video. All right, my loves. So I have been going back and forth with this ranking because ODEN'S is a brand that I love a lot. Like, I just really adore the brand, the packaging, the theming, everything behind ODEN'S. And if you don't know about them, they are a Swedish indie brand and all of their stuff is based on Norse mythology, and they have some of the most beautiful packaging and everything, and I just love them overall. So it's very hard for me to put anything at the bottom of a ranking for an ODEN'S like product, but I'm gonna do it for the sake of this video. Now the ranking is based on various things. It could be color story, likelihood that I'm going to use it could be quality, but I highly doubt there's no quality issues with any of these palettes, as well as just the overall like color story and just preference. I mean, most of this is based on preference. Some things might be something that you would think is #1 and it could be at the bottom for me, and vice versa. You know, we all like different things, so I'm just going to go through all of them. So we're just going to jump into this ranking and I will let you know why each palette is where they are. So the one at the bottom, and the only reason this is at the bottom, and if you've been watching me for a while now when I do ranking videos, it's usually the same reasons why something is close to the bottom, but it's this one right here from the Saga of Freya collection. This is called the Tears of Freya, the Amber Tears palette. I have a hard time figuring out which name it is because there's so many like different names on here, but this one is beautiful. It's just a very neutral, soft palette, and if you can see, I like color. I like very bold, I like very dramatic, I like very dark eyeshadows, and this one doesn't have any dark shadows really. Like, this is like the darkest one in the pan, and everything is just very soft, very neutrally. It has a few little bit of pastels and softer colors, and I just don't reach for this one very often. I don't think I've reached for this one for a while actually, but the quality is really good. If you do like this kind of softer, more neutral color story that has a little bit of pastel, I did recommend this in my like spring palettes that I talked about, because I feel like this would be perfect for someone who wants more neutrals and a little bit of pastel and something a little bit more calmed down. But that is why it is at the bottom of the ranking. And then the next one, and this is something I don't see myself using very often, and I haven't used it very often since I received it and reviewed it, but this is the Skud palette. This is their little smaller ones. This one's a all shimmer palette, and I do think the shimmers are beautiful in here, but I have other all shimmer palettes that I pull more and love more because they're more like multi-chromes or dual chromes. These are pretty, don't get me wrong, but I just don't reach for this very often. And I don't know if I've even, maybe I've reached for it like one more time since I reviewed it to pull in some shimmers, but I have to make like a conscious effort to tell myself to use this. Even though it's pretty, the shimmers are beautiful. This is a perfect palette if you want to get introduced to ODEN'S shimmers and see what they're like, because they are beautiful and sparkly. It's just something about it makes me not pull it out very often. I don't know if it's just the color options or what, but this is a palette I don't use that much. And then the next one in the ranking, which is this one right here. This is the Elva 2 Mini Forest palette. This one has a little bit of color, but this one is still leaning pretty light. There's not anything dark enough for my liking. Like, if this was maybe like a really dark brown, and then maybe we change this to like more of a transition, like a mid-tone shade, I think this would have been perfect. Now this one is a new one because the other one that I had accidentally broke this shade right here, so I picked up a new one during the like Black Friday Cyber Monday sale last year, so it looks untouched, but I have used this palette. Just, this is the new version that I picked up, but it's just very soft. It's still really pretty. Shimmers are really beautiful, especially this shine shade is really nice. I just also don't use this very often. Then the next one, which is predominantly the mini palettes, which is because there's just less options, you know. But this is the, what is this? The Mini Ocean palette. This one does have a little bit of more depth in it, but it's the metallics that are like the deep shades, not the mattes. Now, these are more like accent palettes more than anything, at least for me. I do think it's beautiful though, and I love the whole like split pan and everything, but I do wish that instead of this being like a satin metallic kind of shade, that this was like just a deep blue. I would have loved that, and maybe had this be like a deep brown, and then this would have made it more versatile and more like user friendly for me. But because the darker shades are the metallics, I just don't reach for it often, and I have a lot of these kind of shades in my collection as well, so I think that's why. And then there's a lot of these kind of shades in their like bigger palettes, so I just don't think to reach for this one. Then the next one is the Mini Sky palette, but I do feel like this is a very cohesive color story. Even though it's leaning more on the like rosy tone neutral side, I feel like I can get beautiful completed looks with this, and this is like a standalone palette for me because it has depth, it has mid-tones, it has shimmers, it has an inner corner highlight. You can make it a little bit more neutral, or you can go a little bit more rosy, more purple. And I think the options in here is a really nice one. If you're looking for like a mini rosy neutral palette, I think this is perfect. And the quality is of course amazing in this one as well. Then I have this one right here. This is a bigger palette. It has more options, but overall this is a pretty neutral palette. This is the Freya Saga palette, and this one has two sides. It has two mirrors, and then there's one that has like rosy tones and stuff, and then there's this side that has some greens, some neutrals, a little pop of orange. I'll show you guys up close so you guys can see better. And I do like that there is depth in this palette. Like you do have this dark matte over here. You also have some darker like rosy tone. Well, this is more like a plum shade. And overall, I mean, the formula is beautiful. It's just very, very neutral. And there's only like a few like pops of color. So, I mean, I do reach for this. I do think it's a complete like versatile palette. It just like, I like things like this that's on my eyes. So this is why it's kind of towards the bottom. Then the next one in the ranking is the Verdandi palette. And this one is also neutral, but this has something special in here. And it's this vibrant shade. It is such a vibrant tomato red. It's shockingly vibrant. When I used it, I was like, wow, this is super bright. And I feel like that just made this palette more special with that red, because you can make these looks just so vivid using that to the crease. And I really like this smoky precious metallic. It's beautiful all over the lid. These little beautiful inner corner highlights. It has some peachy tones, and I know that this is smaller. This is pretty neutral, but I think it's because of this shade, and this shade makes it more special to me, and that's why it's like higher than some of the other neutral palettes that I showed you. Then the next palette, which is also neutral, but this one has a grungy twist, and that's why I think it's ranked higher. I love the options in here. So this is the Red Dragon palette. This was the collab with Judy. I'll show you guys up close what everything looks like. Like this color story is really beautiful, and I like the options that she put in this. Now she has more of a neutral makeup style, and of course I'm more colorful and bold, but I like that she added some color to this. So I love this jade shade right here, this lighter olive. These two metallics both have like greeny shifts to them. Then it has this like really vibrant red as well. So you can go kind of green and grungy, or you can go like a little bit more vibrant with the red. And then there's a lot of good amount of deepening shades. So I thought this was a cool take on a neutral palette, and that's why it's like in the middle for me. Then the next one is from the Saga of Freya collection. This is the Cat's Breath palette. Now, of course, I love that there's a cat on here, okay? I am a true cat mom. Anything with a cat on it, I am going to love. But this is what the palette looks like, and this one is kind of fun. It's green. It has mint in it. It has like some pops of orange. So you can go really orangey. You can go really green. You can do something with this pastel and go a little minty, or you can mix the orange and the greens. I feel like orange and green go really well together. I thought the metallics were really beautiful in here, especially this bling shade right here. This metallic kind of minty cool tone shade. They're just really beautiful. So I do like the options in this one. Then the next one is the Elva 2 palette, and this one is pretty colorful. This has a lot more options in it. It has a lot more colors to choose from. Now this one has 2 pressed glitters, so that might sway some people. I don't mind pressed glitters. I think they're fun to, you know, pop in the eyes every now and then. Like this one has some like shift to it. It's like orangey, but there's like pinky and gold glitters in here. Then like this pinky one right here, which has like, it looks like blue glitters in it. I think they're fun. I think they're pretty. I know a lot of people hate that, but these like blues are really beautiful, these greens, and then it has like some, you know, deeper shades over here. So I do think the options and the more colorful vibe is why it's higher up on the ranking. Then the next palette, which is a mini, but this is a very special mini, and I've talked about this palette many times, but this is the Oud palette. This is so special. So this has these beautiful, very unique smoky greens, and I don't think I found anything else in my collection that comes close to the smoky shade in here, this luxury shade. It's just a very smoky kind of blackened green, like a blackened forest green. It's just so special. And then when you pair it with these mattes in here, because it has like this pastel shade, it has this olive shade, it has this nice deep cool tone brown, and then these beautiful like light iridescent shades to pop in the inner corner. Like this is just beautiful and special. And that's why it's so high, because I can't find any real dupes to this luxury shade, and I just love the green smoky vibes of this so much. Very beautiful palette. Then the next one, which is one of their bigger palettes, and this is the Nords eyeshadow palette. Honestly, when I first started like buying palettes from ODEN'S, I thought that this would for sure always be like my number one. I love this so much. This is a very like jewel tone palette. It has so much depth in here and like colorful deep mattes. And this row is so special and beautiful. There's like shifty shades in here. And I mean, this is just gorgeous. If you like a lot of dark, colorful mattes and like more jewel tones, then you would love this palette. I think the quality was great. And that's why it's like number 4 on the ranking. So it's pretty high up there out of all the other palettes. So if you're like looking for one of the bigger palettes, I think this is beautiful and really good. Then there's the next 3 palettes, and I feel like there's something even extra special about these. Like, I feel like the formula is just out of this world, and their formula is already amazing, but there's just something special in these palettes, and I can't explain it. But the third one on the ranking is the Helena palette from ODEN'S. This is the collab with Angelica, and I think this is so beautiful. It's actually the palette I have on my eyes, and I did film this for Instagram. This is so stunning and like striking and smoky and green and vibrant. And I just think she did a great job. These are all the shadows that are in here. And this is fairly new to me, but I've done several looks with this on and off camera. And I just love how like grungy these shades are. And the shifty shades in here are just so beautiful, like next level gorgeous. This double-sided is a beautiful shifty shade for like the inner corner. This river shade is also so beautiful. It's on my lid right here, like closer to the deeper matte. And then this one right here, this is probably my favorite shade in the palette. This is called Complete. This is a true metallic black. How many metallic blacks have you come across in your life? It's usually always like a matte black with some sparkles in it, but a true metallic black doesn't exist in many palettes, and I don't know why. I feel like every palette needs to have one of these shades because it is so beautiful. If you did like a real smoky look and put that all over the lid, that is one of the looks I did with this palette. I did review this and do 3 looks, so I'll link that below and I'll put it up in the corner, but I just loved how that looked all over the lid. And this is just a really beautiful one. So Angelica, you did a great job. Then the next one, which is number 2 on the ranking, and the reason why this is even higher is because this color story is more my true aesthetic. But this is the Giant Wolves palette. This was the collab with Annette's Makeup Corner, and she put all these dark colorful mattes in here and like cool tone shades, and that's what I like. I like smoky shades, I like cool tones, and I like color. Then there's these shifty shades in here. Like this one is a beautiful blue to pink, then it has like this beautiful like inner corner highlight, and then there's a little bit of grunge. So I get my grungy shades, I get my deep colorful shades, I get my cool tones, and I just, oh my god, I adore this. This is such a beautiful collab as well. And then number 1 on the ranking, if you know all the ODEN'S palettes I have, you probably already know which one is going to be number 1. But this one speaks to me on many different levels, even on a personal level. And I think that is why it's number 1. But this is the Hummingbird palette. This was the collab with the Fancy Face. And she is from Jamaica and I am from Hawaii. So her stuff was very tropical and I love tropical vibes, and I come from an island, so I relate a lot to this palette, and I just think it's beautiful. The color story is so fun and vibrant and colorful, and I just love it. Like this limey shade, I mean, obviously I like limey metallics. Then it has like this beautiful like shifty purple shade down here. Then it has like this little pastel, and I love putting a pastel in the inner corner. And then it has some jewel tones. It has a lot of dark shades. It has this like vibrant pink shade in here. Just this whole color story, the packaging, the theming, everything. And I just think it's beautiful, and it really hits close to home on this one. And those are all the reasons why this ended up being number 1 on the ranking. Alright guys, that was my entire ODEN'S collection and all of my rankings. Now I could recommend any of these. They're all good. Quality is amazing in all of them. I think it's just more on preference which palette would like work out for you. But in terms of quality, I think they're beautiful in terms of packaging, execution, the brand, everything that they're about, their customer service. I've had such an amazing experience. So none of them are bad palettes. These were all just more ranked in preference and versatility and how likely I am to reach for them. But you guys will have to let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts? So would you have ranked these differently? What is your favorite ODEN'S palette if you've tried the brand? Or just what have you been up to and loving on? I would love to hear from all y'all. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, you like palette rankings, you like a lot of fun colorful makeup content, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. Also, don't forget to check out the description below. I will link all the palettes where you can find them. I will also link other ODEN'S reviews that I've done and videos that you might be interested in watching. I will also have my contact and social media platforms. I'm also on Instagram as Breezy Lifestyle and Breezy_beauty. So please check me out over there. I will be posting this look very soon on my Breezy_beauty. So if you want to see how I created this, then definitely go over there and follow. Anyways, my loves, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, for being here, for supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. And I just hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. And I'm just sending you all so much light and love. But until next time, bye guys.